Sport Skills Analysis, prepared for Sir Muhammad Noor bin Mohammed. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will be presenting about the sport skills analysis based on the sport chosen, which is football, and the skills that we have chosen are free kick and heading skill. In this presentation, we will be covering the introduction to the sport, the free kick and heading skill, which consists of movement of the skill, muscle and bones involvement, task analysis, movement performance criteria, forms of motion, frame segment, steps for maximizing skill performance, and lastly, conclusion. Introduction to the sport. The main goal of football is to create chances and scores to win the game. So the improvement in free kick technique is one of the most important aims of training programs in developing young players. So in biomechanical analysis perspective, the various factors including the distance of the kick from the goal post, the type of kick used by the players, and the air resistance and the technique of the main kick are considered important to execute the skill better. Free kick skill. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hanim Muzaffar bin Ahmad Ibrahim. Today I will be presenting regarding the movement of skill for free kick and also heading. So for movement of the skill for free kick is firstly the extension and flexion of the hip occurred, and then the hip will slowly abducted and externally rotated. The knee flexes and internally rotates, while the ankle is plantar flexed, abducted, and slightly pronated. So the ankle is plantar flexed. So imagine this is the feet, and it will downwards like this. So this is plantar flex, and it will abducted a little bit. Adapted meaning it is away from the middle line of the body, so it will be like this a little bit. So this is the reason why the player use the inside of their feet, which is this is the inside and this is the outside. So they will use the inside part to kick the ball to make sure the ball to curve, and slightly pronated means it bend a little bit. So that's it.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fidos Samir. I'm from class 4134C. Today, I would like to talk about the sport skill analysis, which is the free kick in football. Okay, first, whenever you play soccer, football, the primary engage a muscle of upper leg is the quadricep and hamstring, and as well as the glutes. In addition, your core, hip and muscle as well as shoulder see action in your kick preparation, contact and follow through. Okay, for the preparation, as you run kick the ball, you take a final step, plan one step and you load the other, pulling backward, and for the strike, the glutes and the hamstring as well as the adductors control your hips, the hamstring, quads and extend your knees, and the plantar flexor your ankles. Your abs and lower back muscles stabilize your trunk, and deltoids align shoulder square to the ball. Okay, before that, I will show you guys the video of free kick. Okay, for free kick, there are all types are involved in free kick, which is long bone, short bone, flat bone, and irregular bone. Okay, for the task analysis in free kick, firstly, you before you do the free kick, approximately 5 meters away from the ball with a 75-degree angle left to the ball. So approach begin by 5 meters away and a 70-degree angle from the ball. After standing flat-footed and you run up the approach, then start with the left leg coming forward, followed by the 6 more steps. The difference in step count could be the difference in the body composition between him, as the difference in the fat that his starting point is calculated by taking 5 steps backward and 1 to the left where mine is at random.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Khairuddin. So as for my part, I would like to tell about the form of motion which is happening in the free kicks and heading. So in generally, there are 3 types of motion, which is the first one, which is angular motion, means that means that involving a rotation around a central or line point. And for the second part, which is linear motion, which is the meaning is that along a line that may be a straight away or curve. And lastly, for the general motion, which means that a combination between a linear and a general motion. So moving on to the next part, which is the motion that happens while doing a free kick. So they have an angular motion. This happens because when the players need to backswing to kick the ball, and then while doing the free kicks, they involve doing an arm swing, which is a rotation in a central line. And for the second motion, which is the linear motion, this happens because when the player runs towards the ball, and the players need to run in a linear motion. And as for last one, which is general motion, this happens because of a combination between general and linear motion to form a free kick.
Now, I want to tell you about the frame segment of sport skills. The first skill is the free kick. There are several steps in the free kick, which is the approach, foot plant, limb swing, hip flexion and knee extension, foot contact with the ball, and lastly, follow through. So, for the approach, the soccer free kick can either be performed from a stationary start, one step, or a distance from the ball. For the foot plant, when kicking the ball, there is direct relationship between where the planted foot is facing and the direction the ball is going to travel. For the limb swing, the stage happens almost simultaneously with the foot plant. The stage focuses on the backward leg swing in preparation to make contact with the ball. The next one is hip flexion and knee extension. Stage 4 is purely focusing on the hip flexion and the knee extension. The hip flexion initiates these phases of the kick. The tight in swung forwards and downwards with concomitant forward rotation of the lower leg foot. So for the next one is the foot contact with the ball. At this point of position, the kicker's feet are crucial to the success of the kick. According to the various studies, the foot is only in contact with the ball for 6 to 16 milliseconds. With reference to kinetic energy, only 15% is transferred from the swinging limb to the ball. And lastly is the follow through. The follow through is the last stage in the kicking sequence and serves a strong purpose in two different areas. The first area is to keep the foot in contact with the ball as long as possible. As is all ballistic movement, the longer contact time is achieved, the greater speed will achieve. So, this is important from a soccer point because less contact in the follow-through stages with the ball will not give it enough power and speed to evade the goalie. And the second purpose is the follow-through is in injury prevention, as going from the point previously made, if the follow-through kicking leg is suddenly slowed greater strain is put on the hamstring muscle group, increasing the risk of injury.
Okay, for the step maximizing skill performance, the first one, before you want to kick the ball into the goal, take aim. So you need to aim first the ball into the goal, and then measure out your run up. And then for the third one, get in the zone. So you need to target ball into the until the goal. And the fourth one, you need to give the keeper the swerve. So if the keeper swerve, your ball can get into the goal. For the conclusion, in the free kick, other than the approach, feel not too much needs and a lot that the continue practice and training overload to try and gain better accuracy, and the shot placement that already have to do in the autonomous age of the soccer than currently. So gaining a better technique and accuracy will help majority for the set piece in game to open situation shooting in game, as well as improving the accuracy of the passing and crossing.
Heading skill. So now we are moving to the movement of skill for the heading. As you can see, there is 6 stages for the heading. First of all, it is the squatting stage where it is the buffer for takeoff. And then at the takeoff stage, the knee joint started to adduct until both feet are off the ground. And then for third step, it is backward abduction. So from both feet being off the ground, to the maximum backward abduction of the coxa. So coxa is basically the bones at the hip. At the fourth stage, heading the ball. So from coxa flexion to head touching the ball. At the fifth stage, it is the falling stage where from head touching the ball to both feet being on the ground. And lastly, it is the buffering where movement after falling to the ground and following actions. So meaning it is the follow through after the falling stage.
Okay, so for the heading part, I will talk about the muscle bone involvement. So the concentrate sternocleidomastoid muscle activity follows as head move forward and the ball rebounds from the head. The upper trapezius muscle are also involved in the heading motion. This muscle stiffening may absorb the kinetic energy of the ball by the head and torso rather than just the head, thus maximizing the acceleration that the head experiences by increasing the relative mass of the player, extending time of contact with the ball. Okay, so right now I will move to the form and motion. Okay, for the task analysis in heading a ball, first, keep your eyes on the ball. Second, you put your non-dominant foot in the front, step back with dominant foot. For the athlete step, keep your feet shoulder width apart with your feet point forward with a head towards the ball. So once you are in the athlete stance, be sure stay on your toes. So keep your heels off the ground and keep your knees bent. Okay. Also, keep your elbows tucked into your rib so you can use your arm for support and balance. When you are getting ready to jump, to push your weight onto your back foot and lean back from your hips. You will want to jump to make the ball at its highest point. Hit the ball with your forehead and push your hips and the forward and through the ball. Okay, be sure to land on the ball's feet.
And lastly, for the form of motion in the heading the balls, that needs, which also involve three motion, which is for the first one is a linear motion. This is because the person needs to run in a linear motion vertically to run towards the ball to heading the balls. And as for the next one, which is angular motion, this is because the player will turn around his head to hit the ball, which also involves the rotation. And for the last one, which is general motion, because of a combination of linear and linear and angular motion that happening because the player needs to form the heading the balls.
Now we go to the second skill, which is the heading. So there are three phases in heading, include pre-impact, ball contact, and follow-through. For the pre-impact, your feet must place in the split stance. Your knees must bend, the torso extended rearwards about the hips, and shoulder must be squared, eye fixed on the ball. And the second step is ball contact. Torso flex towards to meet the ball, and your head and shoulders move in unison with the torso. And lastly, head contacts ball at hairlines. And the last step is follow through. Your torso and head motion continues immediately after contact and then decelerates to regain balance. That's all.
Okay, for the task analysis in heading a ball, first, keep your eyes on the ball. Second, you put your non-dominant foot in the front, step back with dominant foot. For the athlete step, keep your feet shoulder width apart with your feet point forward with a head towards the ball. So once you are in the athlete stance, be sure stay on your toes. So keep your heels off the ground and keep your knees bent. Okay. Also, keep your elbows tucked into your rib so you can use your arm for support and balance. When you are getting ready to jump, to push your weight onto your back foot and lean back from your hips. You will want to jump to meet the ball at its highest point. Hit the ball with your forehead and push your hips and the forward and through the ball. Okay, be sure to land on the ball's feet.
Lastly, conclusion for the heading skill. When we are executing the heading skill, the involved segments deserve keep closer to the notary axis in compliance with the moment of momentum. In this way, it enables the players to execute the heading skill better. So during the side header with both feet taking off from the ground, the main factors that influence the hitting power side header includes the linear and angular velocities of the head and also the angular acceleration of posterior coxa and neck. The hitting power has low relativity with angular acceleration of the head due to the characteristic of point movement. The angular acceleration of both knees is rather low. So we have concluded our overall presentation. That's all from us. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.